Okay, so I'm happy to report I have finally finished my EMDR trauma therapy, and I want to thank you for giving me the space to undergo that and to not feel guilty for not being on here. And now I feel like I can come back, but I feel a lot different, not in a bad way, a little bit overwhelmed, and I have a little bit of fear going forward. This is all pretty normal, I think, given the heaviness of everything, but I wanted to tell you a few things today and just kind of reset myself for coming back. So during my therapy, my therapist taught me about something called secondary trauma, and this has made me rethink the types of things I share here on YouTube. So secondary trauma, I guess, like, I'm probably going to butcher this, but in a nutshell, how it was sort of put to me was when we share our trauma, especially in more vivid detail, that actually kind of has a negative effect on the person we're sharing it with, especially if they've experienced a similar sort of trauma. It can kind of just basically have a negative effect on them, not a positive effect. And so that kind of made me rethink a lot of the things I shared here early on in my channel. And I don't think I really went too vivid in detail, but it just is making me think going forward what to share and in what capacity to share it, now that I know that is a thing. And therapists are trained to deal with that, but she even let me know that that is something that weighs on them heavily. Not that you shouldn't tell your therapist whatever you want to share with them, but just that I guess she was trying to express that even a therapist or somebody that does that for a living, they aren't immune to, secondary trauma and its effects. They just have to learn how to compartmentalize these things. And so as I realized that, it's like, I don't want to put that on people. But then she also encouraged me to continue writing and to share my writings with whomever I feel called to share them to. So, but my writings, as you know, they deal with a lot of me sort of working through those negative emotions and negative experiences. All of my writings come from my experience, like what I'm going through, what I've been through in my life. So sort of finding the middle ground of where those can coexist is something that will be on my mind going forward. I also want to let you know that I really got out of the swing of things with YouTube, and YouTube is harder than it may appear. Let me show you what I'm working with, like what I'm dealing with this editing, so you can kind of like see what I'm seeing. Every line here, you see the bars that go across the bottom and across the top of the video. Those all represent like different things that I've edited or put in to the video. So like every time you see a text go up on the screen, the intro, the outro, the music, the voiceover, any sort of GIFs or graphics on top of the video, and then the video itself, it will have like slices and dices in it, because sometimes I just like have a brain fart and I just am staring at the camera for like a minute while I'm thinking, and to leave all of that in would be so boring to watch. Now I can leave some of it in for just pure comic relief, but if we watched every single one of my like flubs, the video would carry on forever. Also, anytime I get like off track, I have to like put a slice in, edit that out, reshoot the clip, put a new clip in. So every like line you see just about on all of these bars, that represents different cuts and edits, and all of that takes time, right? So how frustrating is it? You get all your cuts and edits just as you want. Keep in mind, this is only like a 3-minute video. I think it's under 3 minutes. And then the second I go to upload it, it crashes, and then it reconfigures all this stuff. So I have to like start over basically from scratch, take a bunch out, reinsert it, and then this kind of cycle keeps continuing, and I have yet to figure it out. So that's sort of what I'm dealing with. I'm just saying I want to be back, but until I can get my editing software working properly, it won't be feasible for me to do like much. So we're gonna upload this, we're gonna see if it comes through, and if I have to do basic sit and talk videos for a while, that's fine with me. But I'm just hoping that I can at least get this uploaded today. So, but the thing is, as you know, this is not my job, YouTube. So I have to just kind of like take it in bite-sized increments. And because also that kind of adds this layer of like stress to it. And I was already going through a family crisis at the time. And I'm not going to go into detail on that. Just know that everybody in the family is safe, but there was a health crisis that had to be addressed, and many members of the family are very upset with me for bringing attention to the crisis and addressing it in ways they thought were unacceptable. We will not go into further detail on that, but so I was dealing with that at the same time I was dealing with these technical issues. And on top of that, I'm dealing with my own decluttering of my entire house because while I was in my depression, I accumulated so much fabric, crafting supplies, reselling, DIY, upcycle. All of this got way out of control in my depression. I was over shopping to give myself those boosts that I needed throughout. And it wasn't like a healthy way to go about that. So I'm dealing with the aftermath of all of that. So you know like how when you're in the groove of something, like a good example for me is workouts. Like if I'm doing my workouts regularly, showing up, whatever it is, whatever schedule I have for myself. So currently I do 3 days a week. If I'm doing those 3 days a week on like a routine, I've scheduled it in, I'm not making excuses, I'm doing it even when I don't want to do it, then I get like this momentum going, and that's with anything. But when I get out of the routine and say I'm just like, I've re-injured myself or I've gone into a bit of a depression and I can't seem to get myself to do these like basic actions that keep my routines in place. For me, what happens is just starting again feels overwhelming. It feels like just going back into the gym, I feel all this weird like stuff going on in my head. Like, oh, I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna be like the most overweight person in the gym. I'm gonna be the flabbiest. Everybody's gonna be looking at me and like saying, God, that person really let themselves go. And all of this is going on in my head, and knowing like that's not actually factual. I've only taken, like say in this example, I've only taken 2 weeks off. Maybe I've piled on a few pounds, but it's not like visibly going to be so noticeable to everybody that they're going to be talking trash as I walk in there. And actually it's quite the opposite. The gym is a pretty supportive place, but this mental blockage keeps me from going and taking that first step back. But then once I finally push myself to do it, then I start to build the momentum again. That is a long-winded way of saying that's what happened here on YouTube. I needed the time off, I took the time off, and then every time I attempted to come back on, I was having like these blocks, like with the editing, and it's not working, and this is becoming stressful, and now we're having a family crisis, and like today, the plumbing's not working. There's always going to be something, it seems, that's going to get in the way of me getting back on here. So this video is just my way of pushing past that initial like blockage of like, this feels like too much. I can't do it. I don't have anything worth saying, you know? I don't feel confident, you know, whatever it is that's going on in my head, like that's holding me back. If I can get the editing software working again, I'll be so relieved that I have this as an outlet again to talk to you guys and to get my creativity across here on YouTube. I feel like this video is already getting a little long and a little too chatty, so I just wanted to pop on, say hi to you guys, let you know that I feel this sort of like I feel this opportunity to have a fresh start, but I also feel a little embarrassed for some of the things that I did while I was sort of like fogged up in the head, or like I thought about deleting every video I've ever made and just starting completely fresh, because I just feel like that's what I want to do. But then if I do that, I think that's a disservice to all of the effort I put in those other videos. And also, if I am able to improve and grow, but I don't keep some of the like crappy stuff up on my channel, then there wouldn't be any sort of evolution. So I'm overthinking everything. And that's something I'm supposed to be working on. I hope everybody has an amazing rest of your day. Thank you so much for giving me the space to do my own thing for a while. And I truly look forward to seeing you soon. Let's end with Bella saying goodbye.